Yeah, Harprasad, go ahead.
Yeah. Turiya, this. Can you hear me?
Now, yes.
Okay. Turiya is the fourth stage. That is, it is above the avastaya. Is that equated to Brahman? And why is it called Turiya?
Yeah, see, okay, two questions. So, yeah, Turiya Avastha. So, if one were forced to call the Brahman as a state of being, because we are aware of the Avasthatrayam. Avasthatrayam we are aware of. Therefore, is there a fourth, if somebody were to say, then if that's the language you want to use, then our Upanishad says, okay, I'm ready to use that language. And so I'm going to introduce you to a fourth state as though quote unquote state. Okay. And quote unquote state, and that quote unquote state is called Turiya Avastha, which is really there in all avasthas, because Brahma has to be there in all avasthas. Okay, there is no sleep in Jagrat, there is no Jagrat in Sushupti, there is no Sushupti in Jagrat. All these things are independent, as it were. But this Turiya fourth state is not like that. It is a state on which all states are dependent. Okay, that is why they have introduces that word Turiya Avastha. Then what is this word Turiya? Turiya is, Ekam, Dve, Trini, Chatvari, Pancha, Shat, Sapta, like that. We have these numbers, right? Okay. One is called cardinal, I think. The other is ordinal. Ordinal is what? Prathamaha, Dvitiyaha, Tritiyaha. First, second, third, Chaturthaha. There is another word for Chaturthaha, synonym. It is called Turiyaha. Turiyaha it is called. Therefore, the word Turiya means fourth. Literally, it means fourth. Now, there may be other meanings to the word Turiya. I don't know right now. I need to look into it. I've not seen the Vipatti and all that. But Turiya means fourth, Chaturtham. You can replace the word Turiya by the word Chaturtham. Chaturthi Avastha.
It is Chaturtham Manyante.
Chaturtham Manyante. Sa Atma Sa Vigneyaha. Say Mandukya. So that's where Turiya comes, Mahodaya. That's where Turiya comes. Any etymological meaning, I don't know right now. We'll find out. Okay. Yeah. So therefore, so we don't have to look at it as a very technical word. It just simply means fourth, because three have been talked about. It is the fourth. So it's like this. If you insist there is creation, then I will say Brahman is the creator. If you recognize that creation is a projection, then Brahma is free from that projection. Brahma is neither the cause nor the effect. Until then, I will say Brahma is the cause. Because cause and effect are not absolute. They are relative. Cause is only with respect to effect. Effect is only with respect to cause. So they have relative statuses. This is a status, relative status. Hey, Brahma cannot have a relative status if you say, then I will say Brahma is neither cause nor effect. It is not the creator also. Like that. Like that's how it works. Okay, Mahodaya?
Dhanyavadaha, Mahodaya. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Good. So if there are no other questions, we can, any of you who want to continue, last time Swapna talked, And then the question is this, right? If you're all now studying Shastram for many years, somebody comes to you with looking, upset, looking sad, looking is very obvious in their face, and they asked you, "I need some help. I'm confused." They may come up after that. They may come up with whatever their problems. It could be a family problem. It could be something. It could be basic life. I'm confused about life itself. Whatever. How will you respond to that? That is the question. You can make up your own assumptions and just share your thoughts. How will you respond? Because we have to. We are in that position now. You better believe it. You act as though you are in that position of being an advisor, being a teacher even. You are a teacher, actually speak. And we're all mature people. So now how will you respond to that? That's the question. So Swapna has already spoken and a couple of others did. So please, others who can volunteer, Anuradha, Haraprasad, Ramuji, Girishji, Vaidya, Vijay, Rama, Narayan, and Meera. So many are there.
Okay, I'll start.
Yes.
The first approach would be empathy, to say that, okay, what happened? Kind of, come down to their level. I don't know what level or anything, but just, come down to the actual samsara and asking, like, what happened and all that. And then whatever that person says, saying that, oh, yeah, I understand, it's very hard and all that. And try to see how I would be reacting to that problem that she or he is facing. And I find it, because quite a few people do come to me with those, and I try to give them my examples that how I deal with them. It seems to them that it is more approachable, and then like proceed on that level and then see where it takes me to.
Right. You have to start with empathy and then don't make any assumptions about. Make sure you understand where they are coming from, right? What is it you're confused about? And yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, Meera Narayan. Go ahead and spotlight yourself, Narayan.
Guruji, with respect to yoga, the same question is handled like we look at it in terms of gunas. So any form of pramada, alasya, moha, all this is termed as tamas. So we recognize them as they are right at that point of time. The tamoguna is predominant. And so the first thing in yoga we would recommend is activity. So physical activity can calm down. This is a practical approach, by the way. Physical activity, giving them in systematic way of being active every day will to a great extent give them calmness, because that's the first thing I think I would like to approach. Because if you look at their lives, most of the time it is lot of mental activity going on, and the physical activity is very less for people who are confused. So that's a practical approach, though I don't deny on all the other approaches like being empathetic and compassionate. All that works, but then they don't know that they are confused. That also is there. So physical activity and making them tired will calm down the mind. Once that is done, then there is a very good analogy they give, like, if the tank is dirty, the water might look very clean on the top, but then there's a lot of muck down. So you have to gush the water into the tank, and the entire mug gets, that's confusion. There is a lot of churning which is happening. And only then with that water you can clean the tank. So then gradually introduce, because they are not in a position to learn Shastras at that particular point of time. So then maybe once the physical activity is, their discipline is set, they themselves come back, like, they're very calm, gradually introduce shloka chanting and things so that they can focus on something for a period of time. That is getting into good water into the tank, and for a systematic period. That's what we use yogic explanation for it, like, abhyasa, vairagya, all that what Patanjali says is dirgha kala nairantarya. So we keep emphasizing on that dirgha kala nairantarya. Then if they are really very keen to overcome their confusion, then they will practice for a long period of time, see the changes in them, and then slowly introduce them to the Shastras and give them the, understanding of what it is, and probably take them directly to what they will get the phalam out of the Shastra, and then introduce the Shastra. Because we always look for phalam first. So make them understand, and maybe that is the approach I would prefer.
Good. Do you know why he says Dirghakala and Nairantaryam? Dirghakala, and we understand, long time. What is Nairantaryam?
Because Dirghakala can be 1 month, then give a break, then it can be another month. It is not established. That sthirata is not there.
Yeah. So the Nairantaryam is Antaram without gap.
Yeah.
Dirghakala without gap. Otherwise, what happens? Every new year, I am doing yoga.
Yeah.
Every new year, for last 15 years, I've been doing yoga. That is Dirghakala, all right, but a lot of Antara is there in between. So they are very, see how when they define all these things, they are thought through all this. Good. Yeah. So give them physical activity.
Yeah, it says Drida Bhumi. Only then that Dridata, that firmness in that, he has to start believing that, okay, this practice is helping me. Because we are very good at taking different approaches given a chance. So because we cannot fix our mind on a particular practice, that's the way we are wired. So convincing him will take some time only with the physical activity. If he is physically active, then he knows something he is gaining. Even physically, the release of hormones, all that will make him feel good over a period of time. Then he will be able to, he is receptive to what Shastram is. Good
approach.
So, a couple of things on this, Guruji, is that sometimes the fears are blown too much out of proportion. Somebody gave, I think, Swami Sukbodhananda says fear is fantasized experience of something not real. Anything but real. He gives an acronym for fear. So, thing is, that fear happens basically because there's too much of churning of mental thought. So, physical activity will stop that. And once physical activity comes in, at a chemical, at a hormone level, there are a lot of good hormones that start getting secreted. Right? So he starts getting the feel-good factor. So once that happens, there can come a commitment to stick to the practice. Then he starts opening up. Otherwise, it's difficult to. A lot of ideas would get rejected in the state the person is.
Right. So some benefits have to be seen, and number one, then therefore, what the advice that's coming is actually working, right? So when we go to a doctor, we go to the doctor who has done some good things for us, right? Oh, this guy's advice always works for me. That's why I'm going there, like that. Even if it is expensive, it's all right. So So like that kind of workable. It has to be practical.
Practical.
Has to be.
He has to see some result. He's expecting a result, short-term result.
Very good. Very good.
Something.
Short term. Okay, good. Nice. Yeah, Ramuji, go ahead.
What I have found is that most of the people don't come for any solution at all. They just want a sounding board, not like in the temple, no one hears. He is standing like a stone. So they want a live store, as what you call sounding board. So I give more attention to them and talk to them. But when I start talking, they say, don't talk Vedanta, we all know that. But I don't talk Vedanta. But still, they want some sounding board for half an hour. I just so when they come, I just shut everything and give full attention to them. So they listen and they little bit calm and go. Actually, they don't come for a permanent solution also.
Okay.
So,
So you made a lot of assumptions right away. They are not coming for permanent solutions.
yeah, that's we know that because earlier what you have done, they have not attended to it. They don't ask for a solution also that way. They want us to cry board.
Yeah, they want a sounding board. They want somebody to listen to them. Yeah, fair enough. That's very important. Apparently,
Whether it is half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, I give them. So they sit and cry and go.
okay, good. Suppose they do this for a month, and you don't have the time now. Now you come into the.
But whatever it is, I give the time, whatever it is. I keep aside my other jobs and do it. I don't, even if a small job that I do it then and there. I keep all of my things up and do it for them. Even for a small help, they'll come. I don't ask them to come later. I do it then and there. So they sit and go.
Good. That's good. So very important. Listening to somebody, just patiently listening to somebody. That's what many people want often.
Like the head singers of America.
Sorry, what is this?
Head singers of America.
He's talking about psychiatrist.
Oh, psychiatrists.
Psychiatrists of America.
Oh.
In fact, they are the people who commit most suicides after listening to all this because they don't solve their own problems.
Oh. My goodness.
Yeah, that is the thing. They are the people who committed maximum suicides, and they are the people who this marriage consultants commit more. They are the diverse people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is a study is there like that.
You mean psychiatrists commit suicides?
Yeah, they commit suicide because they have been the whole life they have been listening to these people for half an hour or 1 hour. Of course, they take money, but still they can't objectify it. They get into their into it.
Okay. Send me that article. If you have a review article or something, send it.
Search for it. I have to search for it, but they do it.
No, Raj. But yeah, that's shocking, basically. It's, to say the least. I didn't expect that. Yeah. So Sangeeta ji raised her hand, and Satya ji is there, and Haraprasad ji is there. Sangeeta ji, did you raise your hand? Yeah, she did some time ago also. And if you can, we can't hear you. You're muted. All right. Okay, Haraprasad ji and Satya ji. Satya ji, go ahead.
First, let me address what Ramuji is going to say, has been saying. It is called a transference. When the psychiatrist is listening to the patients in and out, day in and day out, they get effects from that transference. So that's one. The second thing is, I think the important thing is empathy and sympathy, and accept that is natural and normal, and you are with them and you understand them, and you accept they are going through a rough patch, and then you are willing to provide the support that is needed to the extent you can. I think those two, sympathy and empathy, are extremely important, and also not to criticize or put down the other person by saying anything that might affect their cognitive ability to deal with the situation. So, in general, they call it is a cognitive behavioral therapy. Basically, you analyze what the problem is and say that it is not one side of the coin. You also have to look at the second side, the other side of the coin, and give illustrations to emphasize the point that you want to transmit to the other person, the affected person. And because the exercises and things like that, physical activity takes a long time for its benefits. It does have benefits, there's no question about it, but it takes a long time for to derive those benefits. So one is seeking for quick relief and at least start the process and laid out the path they can travel to reach the goal of calmness. So it is not, I'm not saying that it's 1 day or 1 week or 1 month, it may be years of management, but still one has to start on a slow path, and most important thing is to accept that what they are going through is real, it's not imagined. It is the effect on the brain for whatever reason, whether it is very clearly demonstrated is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It has been noted in the people who have gone for army and armed forces. So it is something similar. Everybody goes through. It doesn't have to be war and death in the war, but even in normal life, the loss of a loved one or a child or something like that can also affect the people to the same extent as it affects the people in the army. So one has to recognize and empathize and sympathize and say that it is what they are going through is not imaginary, it is real, and there are solutions to deal with it. And for example, in a short period, for example, if it is an acute distress, even Granny used to say that take a few deep breaths. The breathing exercises have a calming effect because it stimulates the vagal nerve and the autonomic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system, and provide the calming effect. So something like that, a breathing exercise or meditation, things like that, things that are simple and practical, and they can adopt and practice for in a slow path and hope for a better day or a better week or better month. That's what it.
Good. Yeah. So acceptance of what the person is experiencing. No, don't need to reject it. If I were in your shoes, this is what I would be going through. So validate the person's experiences. These are all basics in psychology. Basics for in psychology, but not basic for the person, you know. And so that itself may be very rewarding for that person. And is that right? I'm not a unique victim or something. No, you're not a unique victim. Nobody's a victim, and I can understand what you're going through. So good. And plus, of course, a lot of other things that Satyaji has told us. Professionals, you know, they know how to do it because they're taught to do this on a daily basis. And so, but we are not professionals, and but we can only go by what we have studied, and in this case, Shastram. And so he's talking about acceptance. So prasada buddhi is there. Prasada buddhi is so important, etc. We can bring in our own ideas from the Shastram also. Good. Thank you, Satyaji.
Right.
Yeah, Haraprasad ji. Yeah, go ahead. Raj. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Now, yes.
Yeah. Satya Mahadev very nicely, he concisely said what is generally the psychiatrist's recommend in this country. Only thing nobody spoke about this. When a person is confused, there may be a lot of reasons, including medical reasons. And for medical reasons, medication is required. So that is a very important aspect people are not talking about. That is where I add to all other things. There's a reason why the person is confused. There may be many, many different reasons. Part of it may be psychological. So medication is required.
Right. So Alaji is making a point there. And so don't get into the trap of, if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. Have you heard that? When I first heard that, I said, wow, only tool I have is a hammer. This cutting plier, a screwdriver, so many things are there. No, I have only hammer. So everything is the nail for me. Everything is a nail. That won't work. So sometimes you have to say, this is more serious than I can handle. Or, you know what, I know what the solution is, but I'm not the person to give you that solution. You got to go to the professional. I know some professionals. I can take you there. I can accompany you if you want. I can do that kind of help I can provide. So, yeah. So that's a good observation, because we have to be, objectivity means that sometimes you have to say, wait a minute, you have not fixed that problem. Your heel problem, you had pain. Why did you not go to the doctor? Plain, simple question. Why are you letting this pain fester like this? And it's adding to all the problems. Now we don't know what is the big problem. So first, let's start solving the problems which we know how to solve. Okay, solve the problem which we know how to solve. Maybe as simple as going to the doctor. Chronic headache. Go. Let's go to the doctor. Do you want me to recommend a good doctor? I can do that. And so let's first fix it. Then we'll talk about your confusion, etc. Correct? We'll continue the discussion. So very, very good observation, Haraj. So like that, yeah, address the problems that you know how to solve. Because we may not be able to solve all problems. Some problems only by acceptance and let go. Let go. Ishvara is the karma phala data, and he is the doctor Vaidyanatha also. So therefore, sadha buddhi, prayer, prarthana, that may be the only final solution for some problem. That is why this prarthana every day is very, very important. Because we don't claim to be experts. Even the expert will at some point say, no, this is beyond me. This is beyond me. So my cousin was not well. For a year, she had some medical problem. And at some point, the expert said, no, you have to live with it. You have to live with it. That's what they told her. So she just lived with it. And then passed away also. So that's it. So even the experts are helpless. Therefore, we develop this prarthana, bhakti. Every day it comes. So it helps us deal with all the ups and downs. Thank you, Haraj. Vaidya, go ahead.
Yeah, Jaykumar ji, what Haraprasad said is very important for, sometimes this confusion can be easily solved also. There are sometimes medical reasons, especially for elderly people, if their electrolyte imbalance, happens. Like for example, if sodium goes low, it can give rise to confusion.
Yes, agreed.
Great.
And so,
Sodium, potassium.
especially older people, that's one thing to look for.
Right. So you're correct. And of course, the discussion was meant for a person for whom those things are all eliminated. But it's good that we're bringing in these things. We're looking at it holistically. And yes, the confusion. And then the electrolyte imbalance, sodium. Our doctor will say, sodium is like the charge that your telephone needs. And if it goes down to 10, 5 and all, it starts misbehaving. And then goes to zero. It's very difficult to bring the sodium back. It takes, one has to be admitted 2 days, 3 days.
Maybe months.
Huh?
Maybe months. For the
Months
sodium
also.
level, yeah, it takes months to balance it, stabilize it.
The normal level for sodium, I'm just interjecting this because I'm a little bit aware of this. The normal level is about 127, 128.
Right, right. Right. So because I remember admitting my mother, etc. So low sodium, low sugar. Low sugar is another issue. So this thing, what one problem this all these medications have caused is people are medicating themselves for sugar, diabetes, and insulin also. Keep on putting insulin, and how do you know when is which how much is too much? And then suddenly low sugar.
Those
Then
people who are given Lasix for the what you call swellings and all, they develop more low sugar, potassium, low sodium and all.
okay. So yeah, the point here is that that some medical conditions can create confusion.
Can I say something?
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that medical conditions can also create this symptom of confusion. But yeah, it's a short-term confusion or is it a long-term problem? So we will obviously see that. And this course of discussion that should come out. Yeah. Anurag, go ahead.
What I think with the medical thing, if the person came to us, he or she didn't have to come to anybody else, because in India everybody is a doctor. Everyone will give you, like, oh, this happened, okay, take this, and that's like given, like and if there is one doctor in the family, then everyone becomes a doctor. That's my experience anyway. So I would say the question that I understood is, really not medically, why would they come to us?
Right. Yeah. So Anurag, so that possibility was also talked about, and not that they wouldn't come to us. They know we are studying Shastra and all that. So they know that these people are different, and they talk about psychological problems. They talk about fundamental problems, and so then somebody realizes, this is the person that I need to go to. But in case there are other problems, because we are not problem solvers, really speaking. Who are we to solve other people's problems? We can't. We can only point, give some insights, and so if the medical, sometimes you have to do that. We have to take charge. You have to tell them, wait a minute, you've been ignoring your health issues. You have a lot of health issues. You got sugar problem. You got this the arthritis problem. You're saying knee is paining you, this the chronic headache and all that. Like, I'd be the first person to say, no, firstly, you have to sort through all this. There are ways to solve all these problems. And let's first do what we know best. Okay, correct? So because everything adds up, everything adds up. And then it's now it's boiling, reach boiling point. So you have to slowly eliminate all these pinch points, slowly, one by one. Yeah, good point, Anuradhaji. They won't come to you for medical. And that reminds me. So this lady who was there helping my parents for a couple of weeks, she looked at me and said, "What is this? Every morning you have a cold." Then she also advised, like you said, she said, take, in India we get this betel leaves, pan leaf. So take 2 pan leaves and then wash it. And then in between, you should do the following. You take 4 or 5 pepper seeds, black pepper seeds, put there, and then 3 cloves there, and then one this cardamom, elaichi, cardamom, full, whole, don't break it, whole, put there, and then fold it, and then in the night you should crush it, and then eat up the juice and swallow the whole thing, except for that elaichi seed. I mean, the elaichi cover will be there, skin. And they can spit that out. Believe it or not, I've been doing it. This is the 10th day or something I'm doing. I don't, you don't ask me if it is helping me. That first day, it did help me. And since then, it has been better than before. That much I can say. But how it be, weather also has changed. So I don't know what really is doing, but these people are amazed. Like you said, everybody is a doctor in India. Yeah, Vijayji, go ahead.
So, Guruji, yeah, yesterday only I had two people reaching out for something. So one is not being judgmental, whoever, because these are people who we know, right? They approach because they know us. So not being judgmental. Second is not being, this is my approach, not being too inquisitive to know what the problem is. I never try to. If they say they're going through some rough patch or something like that, so general thing, because we are also just all work in progress, right? Unless we have practiced something, we can't just preach for the sake of preaching. So have patience, believe in God. So these are the pointers I give generally. And now one person who reached out cited the problem, like having some kind of nightmares and all that. So things which have worked for me only I can talk about. Otherwise, okay, general knowledge we might have, but if we have not tried it ourselves, giving that advice might, okay, we can do that, but still it can't be as convincing as something that you would have tried out. So for this person, I said Vishnu Sahasranam chanting, because what he or she was going through, probably I felt only that would work, is what suddenly it just occurred to me that maybe for this person, Vishnu Sahasranam. A lot of other people who come are people who have done some program with us. So for them, I always say, do the Kriya. Do the Kriya. Because that's worked for me. If it's worked for me, I can say it works. Other than that, yeah, all the knowledge that we are learning, unless I have practiced it, I have seen it working for me, I cannot talk about it. Generally, I won't talk. If I have not put it on practice on myself, I generally won't talk about it. So these are the general, people do reach us because many students who have gone through us, they will reach, they'll write if they have some problem. But only things which I have tried, I can tell them. Do Kriya if they have done the practice, or if this lady who wrote yesterday, she's done the Kriya, but what she was going through looked like she needed Vishnu Sahasranam. This is what I felt, that maybe this is what will help. So I said, you start by listening, then start chanting. And the other person going through rough patch, I said, have patience, believe in God, do Nama Japa. This will help. These things just occur, and what I have been practicing is what I can generally tell them. Is what I have seen.
Correct, correct. So, number one, don't be judgmental. Number two, don't be too inquisitive. Means let it come, and respond to what you hear. And probing only from a very selectively probing if needed. If there is a potential, if you know something about it, and you want to know the even more truer cause, etc. Okay, little detail, but that's about it. There is no desire to.
Yeah, we don't want to get too much into it also, because one is you don't know whether the person wants to, because she wrote, I'm going through a rough patch. Now I don't want to know what that rough patch is, because if she wants, she says it. If not, it's okay. If I whatever, but whatever your rough patch is, be patient. Things will change. Things will improve. Believe in God. Chant God's name. That's it. So we don't want to get entangled into that problem also. Then you will also, maybe the psychologists that you're saying are people, probably their job is that, so they have to go deep into it. But for people who are not trained to handle that, I think we should stay to the level we can help in whatever way, by being there to listen and help in whatever, but not get caught into it, is what I think.
Right, right. Very good. Yeah. So especially if something has worked for you and that appears to be the solution, then that's the best thing. And good, very good thoughts. Very good. Look at how many factors are there. How many things to think about. Anything else? Any other thoughts? Yeah, it's 8:15 here, so we can probably stop now and resume in the next session, I think. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वामयविनाशनाय त्रैलोक्यनाथाय श्रीमहाविष्णवे नमः।
धन्यवाद।